56 minutes to go.
Oh, 2 times champions with 2 claps.
Okay, 2 claps. Okay. So you are looking at this point in time. Let me tell you the first good news. It's sunny in Barbados. So you will have the toss on time.
And you also would have seen Sunny G on the previous game.
Yes.
Although he wasn't in Barbados.
Yeah, he wasn't in Barbados. So we have been building it up for the past one day as to how important this game is for both the countries' future when you look at cricket. South Africa, as it was mentioned in the show earlier, cricket is not their first love. It is rugby. So the Springboks have already achieved their destiny this year. If you look at it, cricket always has been the laughing stock when you say how many times they have choked and in the manner with which they have choked.
And even their women's team also reached a final last year.
Yes, the women's T20 World Cup, if you look at it, it was Australia versus South Africa. There it was kind of an artificial excitement that was there. Australia were dominant and you know at that
But then
time.
they've always been dominant. That's why you correctly point out. The excitement was there, but on a sporting perspective, we all knew that South Africa were the clear and obvious underdogs.
Yep. And
So I want to ask all of you here, all 4 of you in fact, are there any butterflies in your stomach?
No.
Not at all?
No.
been there, done
Quite
that.
bullish actually
Yeah, same.
About India?
about it.
In fact, I dare say I'm more bullish today than I was on November 19th.
Yeah, we were talking about this before this.
You know, they say in Hindi, "Paap ka ghada." I think dukh dard ka ghada pura ho gaya Indian fan ka.
No, but
That's the feeling that
You're
I
sure
get.
about that?
okay.
I think so that there's, it's been full to the brim now. There's no scope of another droplet being added to that ghada now. Maybe it's time.
Tell me one thing. Okay, I do not want to start this on with some negative thing, but yeah, I'll ask it.
Then don't.
But you are.
Then don't.
But I didn't
Reserve
want-
it. We've got at least an hour on the
No,
stream.
tell me one. I don't have a.
It's what I thought. I thought
That's
weren't
exactly
you guys
what you don't want from the Indian team today.
No, but then I thought
coordination.
you guys weren't sharing.
Poor coordination.
Yeah.
I was speaking.
You need coordination from the men in the middle, right? Like it happened in the game. So men in the middle had to coordinate.
Look, you didn't coordinate, and that's
It's all
the reason.
because you
No,
guys
we
are busy
decided-
discussing something which took you to another part of the world.
But what I was
So what? See, this is the thing. I'm talking about the mentality. If India can overcome their scared mentality, the cup is theirs. You lost 3 ICC finals because you were scared. You froze. 2023 represented the heights of your cowardice. Today, with a clean slate, knowing fully well that okay, you have gotten your revenge against 2 teams that you feared.
Yeah.
Okay, against Australia and against England. Against South Africa, yes, there is the thing. Aiden Markram has got the 16-0 winning streak in major ICC events. 6 in the T20 in the Under-19 World Cup of 2014, 2 in the 2023 World Cup, and now he's gotten 8 here. And India have had a no result in one game, and that is why they are 1 less. But then they are also undefeated. This T20 World Cup, if you look at it, is unlike any T20 World Cup. I'm not talking about the scheduling mess. I'm not talking about the logistical hassles that's been there. But because teams this time have defied certain trends and have gone on. For example, who thought first time in the history of the T20 World Cup, 2 teams will come undefeated? No one. I mean,
And one will go through the T20 World Cup
undefeated. So you are having an undefeated world champion, and the last team to do that in an ICC event was India.
But for
in
the
June.
first time, there'll be a T20 World Cup which will end
Without
a team having lost, a team having lost a single match.
And if you want to ask India what is the golden period, I think you should keep all ICC events in June. Why? 1983 to June 25.
Yeah.
Then you won the Champions Trophy. The last time you won No, it was
28th.
28th.
Yesterday,
yeah.
So
Thanks to Instagram, those reels remind you
So-
of the 8-month
Tell
pain.
me.
So, wait.
Yeah.
2 ICC events have been won in June. Third one, 29th, it's going to happen. What June 29th was,
So
can it be? What November 19th couldn't?
So maybe hosting something, that to a final on the 26th and 27th will be a good time, right? Then you'll have a full streak right up till the 29th, 25th.
But don't forget,
starts.
2011 World Cup you didn't win in June.
April. No,
That was
what
in April.
I was actually going to ask.
2007 in June.
I was going to ask, okay, all of you are mentioning the fact that there are no butterflies in your stomachs, and apart from that,
I don't think we heard from Gulati. Gulati was yet to make his point.
I have nothing to say actually.
No, actually, he's backing South Africa. Everyone clearly knows. We've made a video, guys. You can watch that on sportstoday team wishing Team India all the best. Gulati sir isn't a part of that. You would want to tell your reasons for that, and he clearly denies. Anti-national. It is only Gulati sir who is not in that video because he clearly said, "I am backing South Africa."
That's fine. That's unfair.
No,
It's a good omen.
Yeah.
See, it's all on cricketing reasons. There's nothing.
Is he that MBA chai wala in disguise?
Oh, Mr. PB.
It's a good omen because he was the only one to back SRH in the IPL final. Worked out very well.
If I have to say, if Gulati is backing, inspiration will say, "Tu hi sabse bade panauti hai re baba idhar." So see, he's backed 3 teams. He backed England in the semi-final. What happened to England?
No,
They didn't even put up a contest.
But in a nutshell, why I'm backing South Africa to lift the World Cup? It's because I think they have been tested on all fronts. That's the point. They have chased well in those tough situations. They have batted first, didn't really score well, but the bowlers got them over the line.
That sounds like the Indian team as well.
No, but Indian team were mostly
India
defended.
haven't really chased, against a more potent bowling team.
But
that's the point.
you made this point even yesterday, and again, because you have again made it at the counter. What I did and what I still feel is that always this is the case with India, that they come out of all these situations, and again, it's always at the peak when you start the World Cup, and you then sort of start to
Yes.
fall. Your form starts to fall. This time it's a bit different. You still haven't played your 100%. That perfect game. It's getting better and better each time, and I think because the perfect game is still left, that could be today. So
No,
that
I
is
don't
where-
think any team is getting a perfect game due to one very simple reason.
Yeah.
You don't have the kind of conditions. More often than not,
Absolutely.
you've not had the conditions for a quote-unquote perfect game. No, when you say perfect game, you mean the batter's doing
I
well.
mean according to the conditions, perfect game according to the
No, but
conditions.
then you can say that was a perfect game that India had against England. Against
think more-
Australia.
more-
Virat, so that was sort of
You're
90%.
never going to have a situation where 7 of the 8
Yeah,
batters
yeah,
fire.
yeah.
It's never going to happen. The fact is, you put 170 on the board in what were pretty challenging conditions, and then your bowlers wipe them off. That is a perfect game according to those conditions.
See, I think in case of South Africa, more often than not, their bowlers bailed them out of a tough situation. In case of India also, I think they have pretty much an all-round unit, but the thing that is yet to come to the party, as you said, India's all-round show is remaining. On the other hand, South Africa's batting's all-round show is also remaining.
definitely.
That's the point.
You see, the main thing is, this World Cup final already, if you look at it, India will feel to be much more on an even keel. Because you were scared of Australia in 2023. You were really scared of them because their alpha male tendency in the knockout stages comes to the fore. You had a bit of an uncertainty in 2013. Because England, it's a bit of a 50-50 situation. 11, you were scared because you are coming into that situation for the first time in 28 years. You are not part of a World Cup winning team for close to 3 decades rather. The last time you reached the final, you were hammered. Okay, in 2003. Here, South Africa, we don't know which South Africa will turn up. They had utilized all their energy in trying to conquer the semi-final mountain. Can they conquer the final Everest?
Semi-final was a rather, it doesn't sort of apply to South Africa that much as it does to, let's say, and Afghanistan. They'd used themselves up fully. They were out of juice in the tank, let's say, because those wins that they had against Australia, those wins that they had against that win that they had against Bangladesh, I think it took a lot and everything out of them for them to deliver that final punch when it was required against South Africa. For South Africa, though, it was a cakewalk. So I think they would rather, despite there being a limited turnaround, and that's something that we've heard from both the camps, not extremely happy with how the tournament has been scheduled. Quick turnaround, especially when you see the last match of the Super 8s, then the semi-final, and now the finals, will all happening in a space of about last 4 days. So everything put together, we've heard from the two camps about that. Having said that, the fact that they were able to make easy work of Afghanistan, I think not only does that give them confidence, they didn't have to put in their very best. The pitch did half the job. Let's be honest about it. So did they have to throw everything but the kitchen sink to get a result in that match and to get that victory? No.
Even for India, I mean, if you look at it, they had to battle only the uncertain conditions, the weather.
Yes.
But apart from that, with the bat and with the ball,
Clinical job.
Clinical. And England made that blunder, 2 blunders.
See, one thing that has really impressed me about South Africa is that they are not overawed by the situation. Okay, we have reached the first final or something like that.
But do you get that feeling from India?
Not really. But in case of South Africa, it's been a more longer wait.
Yes,
That is the
of
point.
course.
Still, they are very much in the present. And the goal is that, I think one of their cricketers said, I think it was Maharaj who said that, we haven't come here to just reach the final. We're here to win it.
Is there any specific reason why you are saying this, that you don't feel that they're their nerves are not like it's not
I
like
think you
they're
can
not
hear
nervous?
Aiden Markram's press conference. See, in that press conference, he was specific. I think he was asked around 10 to 15 odd questions, and out of that, around 7 to 8 were centered around the fact that you have been perennial chokers. And the way he responded and the way he talked about the mutual respect that he has for the Indian team and for all the teams that have featured in the tournament, and he gave those responses. I think it looks to me that it's a very unusual South African team that has featured in this tournament. Like in one of the debates that Siddharth and I did, I specifically mentioned that let's just go back around 10 years and then think that they were very much reliant on the likes of A.B. de Villiers, Faf du Plessis, Hashim Amla, Dale Steyn for that matter, pretty much those larger than life figures. But when you look at this, South African team, there isn't one person who you can say, okay, we are only reliant on him to get us over the line. There are basically 10 other match winners. You talk about Marco Jansen. He didn't really do well in the group stages. Look at what he has done in the last 2 matches. He won you that. Let me just finish. So he won you that match with a 6. Against West Indies, and then look at his spell against Afghanistan. And if we are saying that Afghanistan are no minnows, then for me the semi-final wasn't a cakewalk. It was more about putting on a brutal show against a team that did really, really well to reach the semi-final. So I think South Africa have stepped up when it has mattered this time around. The best part for me, I think, in case of South Africa has been they have been on the right side of nervy finishes, and we have not.
This has been very
Not just that. I feel that I just feel absolutely opposite of what you're saying. I'll tell you why. During this, see, I know that what you are saying, they have gotten over lines and those crunch situations every time till now. But again, see, it's a knockout stage. It's the final and the semi-final. During the semi-final, something that I really noticed was that what I could sense the energy in the South African camp, Aiden Markram speaking at the toss. I think during the toss also he did not have that sort of that confidence. It was Afghanistan. See, it was in itself a very big occasion for them, the Afghanistan side. So I could sense that in the Afghanistan side that they have no baggage as such, because they know that because they have reached till the semi-final also, that in itself is a really big thing for them. Again, I totally don't call that a cakewalk. Yeah, it was brutal performance, but I think the conditions, as soon as you got those early wickets, I think nerves settled down for the South African side, and the conditions in that sort held them. Now, if you would have seen a counter attack by Afghanistan and the conditions would have been favorable for the side, I was not sure if South Africa would cross the line that day.
But one of the reasons why I think South Africa stay understated is because they have the baggage of history against them.
Yeah.
One of the things you have to remember with this Afghanistan, I think it actually worked against them, is that there was a lot of bluster coming out of the camp after they made it to the semis. So, which fair play, there was nothing wrong with celebrating the fact that as a nation we made the semis. But I do think they lost sight of everything a little bit. You saw their current players, I don't know who it was it Zadran, who was taunting Pat Cummins on social media?
Gulbuddin Naib also.
Najibullah Zadran, yeah.
I think Asghar Afghan came out with some statement.
See, Asghar Afghan is a former player, so him saying whatever he wants is fair play. But if you're a current player and you're more focused on trying to be like a social media troll, that itself tells you, as I said, you're high on bluster. So one of the reasons, I'm not saying it's the only reason, because of course there were travel logistics, there was the fact that the conditions on offer were brutal. Let's make no bones about it. But all of those things do play. I think South Africa have learned over years to be a little on the understated side, because when they haven't, it's come back to bite them brutally. I mean, if a team full of the kind of all-stars that they've had over the past decade, if you go from say 2005 to 15,
even
17,
from the 90s till that 2019 period, every single time it was a superstar team that underwhelmed. I mean, look at 1996 to 1999. How could a team that had Gibbs, that had
Cronje.
Rhodes, that had Cronje, that had
Donald,
Kirsten, that had
Pollock.
Boucher, Donald, Pollock, no, Stain wasn't there.
Kluzner was
Stain was
there.
way up.
AajTak was 2004, 2005.
Yeah.
Kluzner.
Zulu. And
See, and ironically, I remember this because you're talking about the superstars and them underwhelming. That's very much been the trend with South Africa. In fact, if you go back and look at their only ICC tournament win ever, which is of course the Champions Trophy '98, then known as the Knockouts Trophy,
Yeah.
you'd realize they had 3 or 4 star players missing from that particular edition.
Yes.
They were not considered one of the pre-tournament favorites. There was no Kluzner, there was no, if I'm not wrong, there was no Donald,
Yeah, there was
and
no
no Pollock. All had been ruled out due to injuries before the tournament, and
Yeah.
because of that, no one gave them a chance.
Exactly.
They ended up going on to win it anyway.
And this World Cup has been very un-South Africa like.
Yeah.
Because look at the situations that's been there. Netherlands, Bangladesh, Nepal, West Indies. If you
Even Sri Lanka.
England.
Even Sri Lanka.
all were
USA,
close games.
USA for that matter, they just lost by 18 runs.
No, Sri Lanka was
Also-
77 all out.
Still
but
they changed it in 17 overs.
17 overs,
17
they lost
overs.
6
Yeah.
wickets.
Yeah.
Netherlands game they
Listen,
started
if
off
there's
scratchy.
any team in the history that I would predict would get all up while chasing 77, it will always be South Africa. So the fact that they won that was a big deal because those were treacherous conditions. I remember that pitch, it was terrible.
So that is why they have been on the right side of the result all this time. But now, has the luck run out for South Africa? That is the thing that I want to say in the big final.
Though my take on this whole baggage of history conversation that's been happening, I look at it from another point of view where I think that it's 26 years as compared to 11.
11.
But in the case of India, I feel those 11 years way heavier than 26 perhaps. Because given the cricketing behemoth that India are, if you ask any of these players out on the outside as well, I think perhaps those 11 years have weighed more than 26 years in comparison because of the reputation that the Indian team
And
comes in with.
don't forget, your last ICC trophy that you won, 2013, came at a time after which you had completed cricket. 2007, you were T20 World Cup winners. 2011, you held the ODI World Cup. 2013, you held the Champions Trophy. You looked primed for a decade of dominance. The exact opposite has happened.
Are even in 2014, you almost won the T20 World Cup.
Undefeated.
Almost, yeah.
So,
I think we have the pitch report here, so we can just maybe take a couple.
But I think that they're still fully
bullet
filling
points.
it out.
So, yeah,
now,
excellent. Okay.
you see, in those 11 years, why it has been? Because in those 11 years, if you look at Indian cricket, you have seen the marketing economic clout that India has had increase by 200-300%.
Exponential.
Exponentially,
You
it's
think that
increased.
had the better of the Indian
Not
team?
had the better. I'm saying the underwhelming factor. India, if you look at it, should have won every trophy that was there at this point.
Around those years.
Around those years. But now, 11 years looks like a far more potent thing for India because for all the economic clout that you had, you couldn't win a single trophy. That's been galling. Number one. Number two, this World Cup, if you look at it, it has been laid to you on a red carpet. Number one. And also,
Indian team.
of course, which organization ever announces that a team is going to play a semi-final months in advance in Guyana?
Point taken.
There is no transparency about the draws. There is nothing.
There's a security. Like for Pakistan, you had
Pakistan, it's
that
fine.
you're
But
not going to play.
which
Okay, agreed.
when have ICC ever given you a transparent way of how the draws are taken?
Yeah.
Nothing.
It's never been the case. I'll
Football is different in that sense.
No, if in football you have a clear seeding in place. Why? Because the seeding is done with a combination of your world ranking as well as your historical clout, which is why you'll never see, say, Brazil, Argentina put in the same group because their status as former world champions will ensure that they're kept apart for the first this thing. They may still find about, but the draw is very transparent. I are talking about this. In fact, I was doing some research for that video which I did on South Africa's only ICC World Cup win. It's there on Sports Today. Guys can check it out. One of the things that was a bit of a point of contention going into that tournament, because it was the Knockouts Trophy as it was known back then, is that you had 9 test playing nations. You wanted to involve all 9 in the tournament, but of course, if it had to be Knockouts Trophy, you'd need 8 teams, right?
Yeah.
So what did you do? You had a playoff happen between Zimbabwe and New Zealand.
Yes.
But what was the point of contention or the point of consternation is that they said that they would be using the seedings in accordance with the 96 World Cup. If they had actually done that, then a team like New Zealand should not have been playing in the playoff.
Yeah.
It should have been some other teams, but ICC being ICC chose to focus their seedings based on which teams had the most interest.
Yeah.
So that's always been the ICC.
And
by
just the
way.
fact that India and Pakistan have been playing in almost, not just
No, not almost.
Every
2012, except 2012.
Except 2012. In every tournament, they are playing at the group stage, and there are efforts actually made that they sort of play in the semi-final also together, and then go on to play. But I think that is also a problem, and the foreign media started to talk about this fact. And
Look, let's be fair. ICC can change their name and make it the International Catch Council at this point in time, because that's the only thing they do when it comes to the sport. Custodians, nah. But they know how to get revenue out of the game, and that's why you live in an era where every year you have a World Cup. Every year.
So that is why now, with such a situation, with such an arrangement in place, the stars have aligned for you to win. And if you look at South Africa, they have had to come the hard way because they are always the outliers. You look at it, it's the big three. Now South Africa have dared to dream that, okay, we are going to come in the final and try and win. Anyway, they are facing a big uphill task because on paper, looking at this Indian cricket team, they are much better when it comes to the batting front. Bowling, both are equal. So that is why I would say India do start as the favourites in Barbados. But Barbados also has a very unique way of biting the Indian team back. When you look at it, only 3 internationals they have ever won. And the one game...
70 odd years.
Yes, 70 odd years, 71 years, 1953 onwards. So, looking at it, South Africa face an uphill task.
Yeah.
We don't... If you look at number of ICC events, I'm including on under 19, they have a 66% winning ratio.
In the finals.
Finals, yeah. 1998 they won. They won 2014. They have only lost 2008. Now that too, it was against India. And you're completing a full cycle because Virat Kohli, Ravindra Jadeja, Reza Hendricks were all part of the 2008 batch in that under 19 final. India won that by 12 runs. But each and every game, if you look at India in the ICC events, it's been quite close. It's not been one-sided. The only one-sided that I can think of was 2007. Where they won by 37 runs in India.
2009 was also pretty much
Very
one-sided.
close. No, it was very close.
But that was the
12
India-England
runs.
game, na?
12 runs.
Okay.
That was still quite close if you look at it. So, after the toss, we'll discuss other things about whether it was the right decision to chase, whether it's the right decision to bowl, because even there is a big trend which has emerged. Big trend which I will reveal later
First
on.
thoughts, all of us have sort of got a glimpse of the wicket. We have seen the pictures, and we have also seen during the pitch report. This now first thoughts on the wicket. You can start, or anyone can start.
I mean, what I've seen first up doesn't really change my opinion on what I thought this pitch would be. It looks like they've done their damnedest to try and roll it flat. I'm not so sure that's worked. Because again, you've seen that happen previously, and I do think that what tends to happen is that you might get good batting conditions early on, but I think there is something in it for the bowlers as well. I don't see this being a high scoring game.
You're seeing that because of the cracks you're seeing?
Yeah.
So that means all the more reason to bat first, to get the best conditions
I think
to
as
bat.
the match progresses, it might slow down, which means that the team batting first will hold the advantage.
What it tells me is, again, not the best reader of pitches, but from whatever shots that we could see, it gave me an impression that it's not been watered too well. I could sense there was dryness in that pitch there, and I don't see a lot of runs. Talking about batting first, I was looking at the numbers, maybe it is the right thing to do as well, given what has happened here. 9th match you're about to see here, barring the first match, the next 5 matches you had over there, the team batting first won 4 of them.
Yep.
So there is evidence to suggest that you do, if you win the toss, there is reason enough for you to be batting first.
You see, do not look, there is certain trends again, which I'm saying this T20 World Cup will be very different for 2 reasons. Number 1, only 2 teams in the history of the T20 World Cup final have won while defending. Okay, maybe this might change.
But there one India and the other one?
West Indies in 2012 against Sri Lanka at the Ketarama.
Yeah.
Apart from that, you look at it, 2009 Pakistan chased, 2010 England chased, 2012 West Indies defend, 2014 Sri Lanka chased, 2016 West Indies chased, 2021 Australia chased, 2022 England chased. Secondly, don't even look at DLS. when you have to win the toss, because what will common sense suggest? DLS will suggest, okay,
Bowl first.
bowl first. But in the West Indies, the nature of the pitches have been such that the pitch becomes very, very difficult to bat on as the game progresses. Just ask England and Guyana.
Which then brings me to the question that when England won the toss and they opted to field, that's when Rohit Sharma, when he was asked about the decision, he said, no, I wanted to bat first.
Yeah.
Butler
Yes.
got spooked.
No, Butler didn't read the pitch well. I thought that what he thought was that it'll play even, in which case a chase makes perfect sense.
Oh.
Yeah.
But it didn't play
I
out
think
that
the thought
even.
process that day, more of it was that to use the conditions early on, because see, again, you would definitely get that swing and there would be a little bit of juice because, you know, not a fresh wicket in that sense, but yeah, early on you would get that swing and everything. So I think Butler that day had this thought that we can maybe put the Indian team under pressure, because again, what he did not expect was that the wicket will so, you know, drastically sort of start to, you know, deteriorate so much and the ball would stop. But even though after the match, Butler did say that it did not change much.
I think that was him trying to save face, because from what little I could see, he definitely was gripping a lot more in the second innings.
Definitely. Even I did.
I mean, even Akshar was getting a lot more turn than usual, which
I
tells
think
you.
that light roll also that just, you know, opened the cracks up more, and I think the same could be the case. Also, you were mentioning that you feel that it is watered less. I think even if it would have been watered properly, I think the sunlight and especially the wind, I think because of that it also looks like that, and I think that's also the nature of the wicket here.
So, if you see, you have to bat first in this T20 World Cup final. Unless the reverse happens and the pitch improves.
Yeah.
Then we do not. But then traditionally in a day match,
Yeah, exactly.
in a day match, improvement of the pitch in the second innings doesn't happen.
Yeah, at best it will hold true to exactly what it was. At worst, or what we
Deteriorate.
expect, it will deteriorate.
And it's a
That's always
used
possible.
pitch.
Yeah.
Two matches.
Of the group stage were played here. One was between England and Scotland, which was washed out after 10 overs were bowled. Of
90.
Scotland's innings.
90 was scored
And
at
the next
that
was
time.
Namibia versus
Oman.
109.
Yes.
109.
Super over.
First match that it hosted, which was the third match of the tournament.
Yeah.
It was the
I think
super
it
over
was
match.
Super over, yeah.
Yeah, super over.
But the difference was that England game was a day game. This Namibia-Oman game was a night game.
Night game.
And night games in Barbados have been very different as compared to the day. And India, when you look at it, they played against Afghanistan. Here the pitch was different. Batting first, it was truly a different thing as compared to the second innings.
181.
181, and I think you won by 47 runs or 30.
50 odd runs, yeah.
Yeah,
47, 50.
47 runs if I'm not mistaken. So, it is going to be a huge toss to win. But what will be if you win the toss and you make the wrong decision, then that's it. That is when you have squandered the advantage. Yesterday, Markram and I think one of the support staff are also taking pictures of the wicket. They tried doing what a Pat Cummins did. Will they read the pitch properly and do it? It remains to be seen. If the pitch is like that, then I think Shamsi and Maharaj are your three, along with the Markram who can chip in with a bit of the, I think off spin he may be bowling.
I think regardless of the pitches to offer, I don't think the Indian team at this point is making any changes.
India
The South African team may go ahead because you look at numbers as well. Numbers suggest that there's more in this pitch for the pacers than for the spinners. So maybe they can take out one of their spinners and bring back
Bartman.
Neil Bartman, yeah.
whom they started with. Regardless, I will say this again, regardless of what the pitch has to suggest, don't think the Indian team is compromising on its balance.
Yeah.
They have a lot of faith in the 11 that they're playing with. It is in fact toss time, so the suspense will end.
Very, and in fact,
very crucial.
In fact, look, they have two people out presenting the toss. They have Ravi Shastri and his hat.
He's been doing that since the semi-final.
Yeah, I
Or
know.
I think the Australian.
And I think is that Richie Richardson as one of the match referees.
No, I can't recognize.
I have
The
to-
lighting is not being very kind to us, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
And
We can check
something
it out.
interesting, I was seeing that the shorter side is the place that is against the wind.
Yeah.
So basically, the wind direction is towards the longer end, and the shorter end is not the direction where the wind is. So even that is going to be interesting. How now the captains actually utilize
Left
the
hand, right hand
spinners.
combinations could be vital.
And how the spinners are used. Somebody like a Kuldeep.
Okay, the coin's been flipped and
It's Rohit.
Won the toss.
Rohit's won the toss.
So he'll want to bat, obviously.
Probably India is probably
First
batting first.
of the many victories that India were eyeing.
Yeah.
They have it.
A very crucial start.
Listen to the rolls in our office.
Yeah, so
For me, the game was 60-40 before the toss, but post the toss, I think it's 70-30 in favor of India.
I think India
No,
batting
batting
first.
first.
Yeah,
There we go.
Okay.
Did we even need to check that?
Yeah, you never know.
No, you always have to check.
Yeah.
But
I'll take you back to Adelaide, Shashwat. The two captains had very different readings of the pitch.
yeah,
So and it completely made
and on
us.
19th also.
Okay, so here is the team for the final. So drum rolls, please. It's Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Rishabh Pant, Suryakumar Yadav.
Arey, look at the last four, yeah.
Sanju Samson.
No, Shivam Dubey. Shivam Dubey. Then you have got Hardik Pandya, Ravindra Jadeja,
Why are you trying
Akshar
to
Patel, Kuldeep Yadav, Arshdeep, and Jasprit Bumrah.
No change.
No change.
Said it
For all those fake guys out there you go. No.
Yeah.
fake guys.
Because they were all saying Sanju's coming in for Dubey, change happening, this happening, that happening. Aha.
See, if you followed Indian cricket,
Yeah.
if you
lot of unicorns.
if you withstood just the last couple of pains that this Indian team has had to endure, one thing will not change. One thing will not change if you followed Indian cricket. You don't like changing something that's not broken.
Yeah.
They don't. However, South Africa, I expect other and it's okay. It could be right or wrong. That's a debate for another day altogether. South Africa, though, I won't be surprised if they go ahead and make a change.
They would get something.
Because there is numbers to suggest that
They already had Shamsi.
Shamsi, they already had
Bartman. No, I think
because
Gill also.
Yeah.
Pacers have been more economical, more wickets here to the Pacers than the spinners.
Yeah, which means you may very well see Shamsi sit out and they may bring back Bartman, O'Neill Bartman,
So-
aka Kylian Mbappe's long lost brother.
So Mumbai Indians was the Sunrisers Eastern Cape. That's how it is. Because
So am I Cape Town?
nah, this is Mumbai Indians. India is Mumbai Indians, and that is Sunrisers Eastern Cape. So
Indians, Mumbai
Unchanged.
Indians. I didn't know Hardik Pandya was our captain.
Okay, Markram has said that would have batted first as well.
yeah, it is a dry wicket.
He
so.
says as well, wickets look dry.
Yeah, which is why I say you, for the third time, if you look at it, you will see a team, if everything goes to plan, India will defend the total because chasing will become difficult. But you've seen in the final that teams have chased. Now, how this Barbados wicket will play, it remains to be seen. I don't think you're going to see any early movement that you've got. Either it'll be off the wicket, it won't be off the air because I think the wind isn't that strong
No,
enough.
it is pretty strong.
Yeah, look at the breeze.
30 kmph.
Yeah, it's pretty
30
strong.
km,
30 km.
But which side is it coming from? Is it coming
It's
from
against, it's against the smaller side.
so it's not coming from the Malcolm Marshall
But again,
end
ends
then.
keep changing, right?
Okay,
Yeah,
South Africa are
Are
also
unchanged.
unchanged. Yes.
It had to be
Shamsi
because
plays.
you're only going to go with Maharaj and Shamsi. That's your two, you may say, spinners who have been your strength
So basically, you have 3 pace bowlers and 3 spinning options.
Yes.
for both teams.
Yeah.
For both teams, because Hardik Pandya, then you got Jasprit Bumrah and Arshdeep Singh, your 3 pacers. Shivam Dubey is there as one of the backup pace bowling options if one of them has an off.
Yeah, they haven't bowled him.
Are you still expecting him to bowl?
Not a chance.
I don't know. I mean, he may not bowl at all. He's bowled only 1 over in the entire tournament. Where is he going to get to bowl in the final? Unless both are unchanged. Both are.
Half the battle won at the toss
you're
itself?
looking at
Not really.
No,
Not really.
Nowhere near.
the toss
Got a
was
good
so
start.
crucial.
It wasn't that crucial. Not as crucial as we're making it out to be.
See,
Who
the
knows?
real game,
Someone
of
plays a blinder.
course.
Yeah,
You never know. That's my point. But yeah, it's a good start, admittedly. I would have been very nervy had they not won.
Yeah,
that.
You can't say that, it's one hand on the trophy. No.
Unless
No. Shashwat's got some other ideas altogether.
the toss for me.
Should we just give the trophy to India already?
South Africa, they're just to make up the numbers.
For me, I think the toss was really crucial because again, settled to settle.
So one
down,
hand on the
know.
trophy for you.
Mm,
But you wanted us to say that.
No, I didn't want. Wanted you to say that. I am not saying that. That's why I wanted you to say that.
No, I don't think so. It's always based on conditions, and you always have to look at, how it is that the game is going. I was not confident. I remember IPL final, everyone's telling me, boss, it's a done deal after the first innings. I said, no. Respect the game. Always respect, man. Respect. Always respect. Always respect.
Yeah. So looking at the batting lineup, see, you got batting for the Indian team until number 8. If you look at South Africa,
7.
that is where that problem is.
But I think on a pitch like this, no, it doesn't really matter that much. I prefer more batting depth on a pitch which will be good for batting, because there's always more of a propensity to throw your wickets away.
Yeah.
Here, I think you'll get a few batters, and really with South Africa, the advantage now that they have is that they're batting second.
Yeah.
So they'll know. Of course, with them knowing the equation hasn't been very helpful, as we've learned. But
I mean, you look at it. Whenever they have chased, they have stumbled. If you look at 1999, they knew the equation, but they stumbled on the technicality. 1992, I think it was done well before. I think because they didn't complete their overs on time, knowing fully
45.
well that the rain was going to come.
But even then, 22 of what? 17 it was?
7. 22 of 7.
Oh, that was after the rule came in.
After the rule came in, 22 of 1.
Because first, no. It was 13.
22 of 13, yeah.
First, they came up and said, okay, 7, and then 7 became 1.
But even then at that time, 22 of 13 in 1992 was a tricky thing.
yeah, 22 of 13 of 1992 versus the 2024 are very
Yeah.
But
different.
who did they have on strike then?
They had Brian McMillan, who was there, and I think it was Dave Richardson at the other end. And you look at it, Brian McMillan was the only guy who could have gotten them home, because Richardson was much more of an accumulator, if you look at it. But South Africa had only themselves to blame because they didn't finish their overs on time. And I loved that principle that if you don't finish your overs on time, you are fined overs in the second innings. It was a deterrent that you have to bowl your overs on time. 96, I mean, they didn't chase and that's why they got out. 1999 was the most brutal of the lot. And 2003 also, even more farcical. They, for the first time, that entire generation knew that a par score means target is +1. Yeah. Until then, everybody misinterpreted that the par score was the target.
Not the batters in the middle.
Not the bat. Because the message was given wrong. So that is why. 7, they couldn't defend because they were undone totally by a brilliant Australia. 11, they couldn't chase. 15, they couldn't defend. 2023, they couldn't defend. So nothing works for the South Africa team. And if you look at India and South Africa contests, first 4 were won while defending. The last 2 have been won while chasing. In all the 6 T20 World Cup encounters. Look at 2007, India defended. 2009, South Africa defended. 2010, India defended. 2012, India defended. 2014, India chased. 2022, South Africa chased. So that is why this World Cup, if you look at it, you may either have a third edition of a team defending and winning, or it will continue the trend that has been there, that a team chases and they win. So that has now been said. Now let's hope that for one thing it doesn't rain.
Don't even. Oh,
There is a bit.
No, there is a big prediction.
Yes,
I know.
there is a 20%
please,
chance. There is a 20% chance. However, that's not to say that we can't have a full game today itself. Let's also
the
remind
goal
everyone.
is to make sure that the game gets finished itself today, because there is a buffer time of 190 minutes, which is 3 hours and 10 minutes before overs start to get lost.
And that was another 95 minutes.
Yeah.
For a 10 over game. Now, if you've played, okay, now so this is the rule. If people will be asking, what is the rule in case the rain comes? You started play. Now for the next, you may say 285 minutes. From that point when it stopped, if you do not get any further play, it is going to start on the reserve day from that particular moment.
Not from scratch.
Not from scratch.
Thank God for that. That was one farcical thing that used to be there.
Last time that happened,
And it will remain a 10 over game because it was already reduced to a 10 over game and then you couldn't have any more further play, and that's why it's going to be the same situation. So shall we take some comments?
Yeah, we're just about 15 minutes, 17 minutes away.
What I wanted to ask, what are the key, we can just give one word, 2-word answers. Key battles you are looking for in this. For me, I'm looking at a Rabada and Rohit Sharma.
You can start.
I will go with a Bumrah against QDK.
I will say very simple one which could really define it. Klaasen versus Kuldeep.
Yes. Same for me.
Because again, Klaasen is someone who does have, generally speaking, the beating of most spinners. Yeah, I think he has a decent record against Kuldeep as well.
Very good record. But there's one more battle.
2 dismissals, I believe, right?
Yeah, but there's one more battle that is that's basically between Kuldeep and Miller. But Henrik Klaasen has got the better of Kuldeep, not just in international cricket, but in IPL also. But there's one more battle that is not really much talked about. It's Ravindra Jadeja versus Henrik Klaasen.
Yeah, because
so in the 16 balls that Jadeja has bowled to Klaasen, He's only managed 15 runs. There have been no dismissals, but they have been only 15 runs. So which goes on to show that Klaasen, he himself admitted in one of the interviews that he's circumspect when it comes to facing Jadeja. So whether he should, just be the accumulator or he should go for his shots.
So that's for you. You built all that suspense while reading out Jadeja's name. See, that's why he's in the team.
I feel like the battle Shane sir specifically mentioned Kuldeep and Klaasen. I think that could be really crucial, and the reason for that is that middle overs. If South Africa managed to capitalize the middle overs, then I think they might just have they might just be a little ahead of the game. And Sidvi sir, you
see, there came a phase in the semi-final between India and England. Was that from 14th over, or I think that from the 13th over till the 17th over, India weren't really able to accelerate, and South Africa would have had their eyes, glued to it. So if South Africa can make sure they can just, restrict India to a longer phase like that, I think it might just be important for them.
Anyhow, before we start with the comments, let's first listen into Shivam. He's got thoughts as well to share.
Here today, South Africa will bat second. Key battle for me is Miller versus entire Indian bowling.
Miller can be heavy on the entire bowling
It's
unit.
also a 9-year wait for Miller, na?
He is a beast.
He was a part of the
Sidvi, your key battle.
My key battle, I think what might set it up is Nortje versus Kohli.
Oh,
Because Nortje has been your best bowler for South Africa.
Will he get a chance to bowl to Kohli? Because usually South Africa have begun with either Jansen and Rabada or Jansen and Maharaj.
Yeah, usually Nokia is the
I
designated
think he
first
might.
change.
I think he might because see, if you want to
So
get,
Kohli's staying beyond the first 2, 3, 4 overs then.
I think so. I think so because see, you want to get rid of India's difference maker. Whatever you may say in a final, he still remains your biggest player.
Agreed.
Kohli at this point in time, if you get him out, and if you get the Rocco Jodi out before the power play, then I think some butterflies will start to flutter. Because if Virat has failed, Rohit has carried on. You look at all the Super 8 encounters that's been there and the semi-final. It's been Rohit that has been making a difference. And it is, again, you call it destiny or you call it a full circle of life. Today, Rohit is playing against the team that he first came out to bat in international cricket.
Yes.
2007, a young Rohit Sharma had already made his debut against Ireland.
England. No?
He had first come against Ireland, but he didn't get to play. He didn't come out to bat. He batted for the first time against South Africa.
But that was an ODI. And you're talking about T20.
Even a T20. He didn't come out to bat even against England in the T20 because they were only 4 down. So that is why.
We will definitely get to the predictions also, but before that, what according to you is the par score here? So yeah. Because I was going to ask the winning total also, but whatever the par is, just 20 runs added. Then
So do we go with par and India prediction together or?
No, India prediction
Let's hold on for India predictions.
Yeah.
But par total, man, I think given what we've heard from both captains, I think 130 should be par.
Isn't that 130?
Seriously, Shane?
Are you serious?
Yeah. I don't see this being a high score
That's
game.
Not even 150?
That's actually a bold prediction than what I have made.
Then 131, we
Even
could
bolder prediction.
we may as well be seeing proper 240 balls then.
Par. A winning total would be about 150. I'm adding 20 runs to that.
You tell me.
130 can
I'll
be
go
good if
now.
you have a good showing because I don't expect this to be a good wicket. Again, it's bold, I know. I could be horribly wrong, but
For me, I think the par total in Barbados, whatever way you look at it, has always been 145. Okay?
Yeah.
Par total. But for me, I think in this match, you may see a 165. A 165 by the team batting first, which will set it up. And
That would be a par. You're saying 165 would be a par fighting total.
will be a match winning total.
No, par.
Par, I have said
145.
145.
For you?
Par, I think, would be 135, 140. And a winning total, 160, 170.
I think anything in excess of 170 is winning and par would be 55, 60.
For me,
Okay.
I think 130, 35 could be, then that would be a...
Because I'm just going
that
by
would
the
be a-
fact that there must have been efforts made to make this
Yeah.
pitch flatter.
Yeah, and
You
that's
want
why-
some runs in the final. And I was listening to the curator. I think he said that about this particular strip that it was laid out in the month of January, and they've been working on it since then.
That's fair, but one of Markram's first comments was it looks dry. That's never a good sign.
Yes. That's what I said. When we were talking about the pitches, when Sashwat asked that question as to what we make of it, I had the exact same assessment as well. It doesn't look like a pitch that's been watered enough. It does look dry, and it doesn't clearly have that kind of grass to hold it together as well.
Yeah, and even in the pitch report, they said there's no grass.
See, no grass as well. So, and whatever little grass that you see, it's dry grass which
It's
will
dry
not
grass.
bind the wicket together. It's in fact going to shave away, and it's just going to break up further. So, in that way, yes, it's a good toss to win. But yeah.
So par for you is 155.
155 looks like the par total. When you look at the averages here as well, you've seen a 109. Though I won't really rely on that 109 too much, because you look at the two teams playing there as well. So you don't expect
different conditions.
Different conditions. There was a day-night match. You look at the other side of the spectrum, 181 is what you saw. Again, India against Afghanistan. So do I expect that kind of a batting show? Perhaps not, because you've got a better quality bowling lineup as well. So that's where the runs get trimmed down to.
Yep.
For me, I guess it's the par score is same. It's going to be 155. 155. I think if India manage to get 155, I think they will really have to fight it out to actually win it, because seeing the batting, 130ish again, I feel is just little over a run a ball. So I think in that situation, all the pressure would be on the bowling side itself, and the batting team would feel at ease. So 135, 130ish. Whatever the condition would be psychologically would also be advantages to the team that is chasing and disadvantage to the team that's bowling. So I feel that psychologically that will make a very big impact. So 145, 150 could be a score that you will really have to fight out to win. So par score would be
It is very
anything
low.
170, anything over 170.
Look, the lowest ever final that you've had was the 2014 encounter.
130.
Or even the 2009 encounter also between Pakistan and Sri
That
Lanka.
was still 140 if I'm not
140, but then see,
Yeah.
130.
That was in Lords, right?
Lords.
Yeah.
130 and 132 that you chased versus India, Sri Lanka in 2014. That was a pretty sluggish wicket that you played on. 16 was high scoring, 21 was high scoring, 2022 was also pretty low scoring if you look at it. The nature of the wicket in Melbourne did not change throughout in 2022. The highest that was scored was 162.
Yep.
I think, and none of the other teams managed a dent in that score as well. And when you look at Barbados, it's been a lottery. Barbados has been the ultimate lottery when you look at it. One has scored 109, the other has scored 181. What do you make of the pitch? And this is the same pitch where England-Scotland, where 90 was
90
scored.
was
You were
scored
going
10
at a rate
overs.
of 9.
Yeah.
So that is the reason why I can't make sense of this entire Barbados wicket, because this has been the ultimate lottery. Guyana at least had some trend. There has been no trend in Barbados. So that's why.
Speaking of trends, we do have a trend of involving our very supportive family members as well in this chat. So let's dive into the comments. But before that, let's tell you what the poll looks like. We put out a poll for all of you, and we see just close to
It's a dead
400
heat.
votes over there as well. How are you feeling about the final? That was the question. 43% excited, 43, just the same measure, let's say nervous.
That's 42% excited now, but yeah, that's very close.
Very, very close.
It's a dead heat almost,
There
yeah.
is 15% of people out there who are confident. That's
GGK being one of them.
Sashwat being the other, I feel.
Yeah.
Sashwat would definitely vote for confident.
Yeah.
Yeah, won the toss also now.
Excited.
He wanted us to say, na?
So that he can put it on.
That's good.
I didn't say anything.
It's good, it's good. You do understand where those nerves come from as well, 42%.
Yes.
So I'm not surprised by that as far as
I think
that
Kettle
nervous-
should not be allowed to walk out for the national anthem.
He can't. He's the third umpire.
No, but I think he has.
No, I think
all the umpires come out.
Big
Yeah.
deal. It's not like he's
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, that factor, where we were talking about it on the group the other day, how do you look at it?
I don't.
Do we look at it as a bad omen? Because cricket fans, let's be honest, cricket fans do look at omens, superstitions.
All sport fans, too.
Yeah. So, and going by the trend, he's been there.
I do. I
So
tell you
it's
why.
a good omen
Till-
that he's not on the field at least.
Yeah. 2020 till 2023 till the 19th of November, I never did. I remember actually, doing this a short video on that that he's not he's going to be the umpire, so things are going to change this time for sure. The jinx is going to break and all of this, and then just
Now
what
did you
happened?
do the video?
No.
Technically, now it should be the third umpire.
He's the third away, exactly. Call for another video then.
No videos related to that guy at all.
Yeah, you're saying that the teams are already out 7 minutes prior to the match start because the second longest national anthem is going to be played.
Which is the longest you told that there?
Bangladesh.
Amar Shonar Bangla is very
Amar Shonar Bangla is quite long. Sri Lanka is the
Lankan national anthem pretty long.
third longest.
After South Africa.
But the best news of the day so far has been that it has been bright and sunny in
But the worst
Barbados.
news is that the stands don't seem to be full.
Yeah.
That is surprising again.
It's not that surprising.
Yeah, also it's in that part of the world where commute is genuinely very difficult.
Yeah.
And not just that, you have to remember one thing.
There's only one set of fans who had prior knowledge. That also.
Also, more importantly, people aren't realizing it, but the importance, or let's say the buzz around cricket in the Caribbean has been declining.
Yeah.
Whether or not you want to admit that as a truth, it is the case.
Primarily because of their national team's performances.
And
I mean, you can't even
also
call it a national
the
team.
American sports influence, like the NBA and all, have really taken control. And there is a very interesting, I think, was pointed out by one of my friends there. He said, why was the final held on Saturday? Because in Barbados, the church services on Sunday would mean that logistically it would be very difficult to organize the game.
I don't think any
Would
of us.
that have been the primary reason? I doubt.
That is one of the factors.
I'm
being
sure
said.
there is something we don't know here,
I think
and the
it's down-
broadcaster would have definitely played a role here.
I think it's down to the fact that from Sunday onwards, and Sunday I remember doing a bit of a weather search, is that there's a storm warning on Sunday. So the week after that
The
is going
reserved
to
has
be,
a storm warning.
Yes, sir. So imagine how bad the next week will be. Which is why they had to pull it back a day.
Were we even expecting the local crowd to turn up? I think it was more about the Indians turning up.
Yeah, let's be honest. If the World Cup final is happening in Mumbai and it doesn't feature an Indian team, you're getting a half-empty stadium too.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just dive into some comments now.
Ashish Dhar with 2, and we'll take both of them. He says that Saturday is a lucky day for India, June 83 and 2011.
Yep.
Valid
Pointed
point.
by our very own
April was
super senior Sid V.
2nd April was Sunday.
25th of June.
Yes.
Yeah, Saturday.
That is
June 20.
Saturday.
Only the
They can't
champ.
do that the way they have actually changed things for the Indian team.
See, this will be the third ICC trophy that you win in the month of June. So that's why.
Ashish also adds that Kohli must avoid sledging a South Africa player. It backfired in 2023. Who did he sledge?
Is he talking about the test series?
Yeah.
The
Must
test
be,
series.
yeah.
Maybe.
Who did he sledge? I remember the
broadcaster.
sledging
the
best
World
to
Cup
definitely
2021.
backfire.
Yeah, the World Cup match, he's not talking about that. Then Kohli did not feature in the T20 and the One Day series also in South Africa.
In the test he featured.
I think, he's probably talking about
Who did he
that.
sledge?
I can't recall. The last time I remember Kohli sledging backfiring.
No, I
Kohli
think,
sl-
see,
I think it's the first test.
2021, I think he was going after Keegan Peterson. 2021.
But then he said here 23.
23. Okay.
He didn't go after Dean Elgar.
21.
Okay, King.
He didn't go after Dean Elgar.
He went after Elgar. You're right.
Elgar.
It was Elgar. Dean Elgar.
Okay, King D has a
He
comment.
spat
Yes, he
that
did. He did. Yeah.
what if
he came out in that famous podcast, no, that was famous for all the wrong reasons. After
Oh, when he said he spat on him and all also.
But he spat on him and all happened years back.
Yeah.
Same podcast.
and the same podcast where Boucher also made really.
And the
big
Bairstow one was 2021. Okay,
No,
22. 22.
No, that was bad.
Yeah, King D has a comment. What if India lose? The whole world will laugh.
No. The whole cricketing world will laugh at you, and that's not very big.
See, that's the thing is that India
about 9-10
wanted a
nations.
change in their template, in their T20 template, and they have done it.
Yeah.
I think coming into the final is in itself a very big achievement. Obviously, anything can happen on that big day. Even any team can win. The team who performs really well will obviously, have the end result in their favor. But then I think India should be really proud of their performance so far. That
He's
how
being
they
like
have
a
played.
captain.
Win hearts.
Yeah.
Aiden Markram, I just heard his press conference. Sounds very
Yeah.
similar.
So I think there's nothing to be, no shame in losing to a better team.
Yeah, so.
No, but again, losing a final, I genuinely wouldn't accept that now, especially with this team.
Whether you accept it or not, if it happens, it
Yeah,
happens.
but I as a fan wouldn't.
But you're not a fan when you're.
But I'm saying,
You
is the
can't
point.
take this television and break it, nor the
no.
three behind
It'll
it.
be cut from your salary. Just saying.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So Priyanshu is like saying it's a Mahila Sangha moment loading for Roko. Sachin in 2003 won the player of the tournament, won in 2011, 8 years.
Okay.
Messi won the player of the
Amazing, how people find
know.
these.
Yeah, it gets better.
Messi won the player of the tournament in 2014, won the title in 2022. Virat won player of the tournament in 2016, now 2024, 8 years.
Now Shane is also about to make a comment since the time Gulati has joined. KKR has won the title, and his favorite team
It's a good
won the
trend.
Euro.
It's a good trend.
You never know.
My
if
favorite
India
team
won
is not winning the Euros. I'm an England fan. There's no way we're winning the Euros with Southgate.
Yeah, I mean, see the Mahila Sangha moment. I do agree. They had to go through a lot of pain.
The
They
only
lost
thing
4
that
finals.
Shane agrees with that it's coming home. It's biryani, not the World Cup.
Biryani
I heard you're giving a biryani party today.
Yes, I am.
We should be taking parties from him.
Yeah.
Virat did sledge Labuschagne in 2023, and Labuschagne, is of South African descent.
Oh.
That's an interesting.
Idhar se.
Yeah, it went.
Yeah, Ashish Dhar,
Labus Chagne.
in that sense. So, yep.
So
You should be hoping the South Africans aren't making noises.
Yeah, but I think, see, if you lose today and suppose you lose by a big margin, it's not a choke. You're just undone. You're just undone by a better team.
Anyway, let's not talk about chokes or losing. The Indian team is out there, so predictions.
I'll start today.
Okay.
165.
I think India getting to 171.
1?
I think you start writing the match report right now.
Sid.
I'll go last. You say.
I say, okay. 167. And India win, obviously.
Okay.
158 in India win. I'm really expecting a low scoring match, so I'm going all in.
Okay, Shivam.
Actually, he's going last. Wow.
Yeah.
180.
180.
180.
But it's good. We get that.
final
It's
result.
You should already start writing the
183
match report
basis. Our predictions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shashwat
Now everybody's
doesn't know
done,
anything
please.
about match report.
Okay, 160. 160.
Shashwat wants me to start writing the match report just because we made predictions.
No, because you vote your prediction.
Listen, I'm never writing match reports preceding matches. I've learned the hard way not to ever do that.
Siddharth also learnt it.
Was the script ready in 2023? I mean, the script as in yours.
No. For me, 2022, I started writing a match report for the World Cup when Argentina were 2-0 up. Start writing it for TV, and it's 2-all. And I'm telling Saransh, I'm like, I told you, nahi karna hota hai ye sab. Then it went to extra time and penalties, which meant I had more writing work. So, yeah.
For me, the worst was 2010. Pakistan, Australia.
Arey, my
That's
prediction.
semi-final.
Even Nidhas now
I'll let
Siddharth.
him give his prediction.
Dahas, yeah.
Even Nidhas.
My prediction. 160.
Your prediction last to last. Okay, 160.
160.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And South Africa winning.
And,
King D has gone with
South Africa
242 guys. We are playing an ODI.
Priyanshu has gone for 176. GGK
He
210.
didn't manage that in the ODI final also.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 241.
Anyway, which way the match has gotten underway, so we'll see which of us is right at the mid innings. We'll join you then. It's been a long preview. Thanks for rocking along with us, and hopefully we'll be bringing you plenty more good news in the mid innings. And after that, right now though, from the five of us, from Harshit, Shashwat, Siddharth, and me, it is goodbye. Stay tuned.
And the first boundaries here, guys.
From Virat Kohli.
Final.
Lovely.
Bye bye.